So if you notice it, guys, last class we studied what is 10% law, and as well as why the number of trophic levels in a food chain is limited. So 10% law, as we know that it has been given by whom? Anybody? Kritika? It has been given by Raymond Lindman. Yes or no? So he is used to say that only whatever the energy you are receiving from the some organism is only 10% we are receiving from the total energy of that organism. So that is only we used to call it as 10%. Means at each successive trophic level is only the 10% of the previous level which the energy is available. So that is only we used to call it as 10% law. So now, as we know, except from sun to the plants, remaining every place, the energy is transferred only 10% of the successive trophic levels. Only from the sun to the plants alone, how much energy they will utilize? So whatever the energy the sun is providing, only how much energy they will utilize plants, guys? The plants will take
1%.
only 1% of it. So now from plants to consumers, whatever it is, primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, whatever it is, it will only will take a 10% of total energy. So that is only we used to call it as 10% law. So now also we know that why the trophic levels in a food chain is limited, because trophic levels are limited because a very less energy will flow. Understanding? After a 4 or 5 fifth consumer in a food chain, so it will become very minimum or insufficient to sustain life of that organism. So that is the reason trophic levels in a food chain is always what it is, guys, limited. So maximum how many we can find? Till maximum 4 trophic levels we can see, and very rarely we can see 5, and more than 5 extremely rare cases, because by reaching 4 or 5 itself, the energy reaching to the organisms will become very less. So what will happen? It is not sufficient or insufficient to sustain the life of that organism. So that is why we can say that some food chains only containing 5 steps. That is also very rarely, but they are like more than 5 steps. It is almost impossible things. So that is the reason we will take always the maximum food chains you can take it consist of 3 or 4 steps, because after that energy available for the next organism will be so small. So it is very difficult to sufficient or is not sufficient for the sustaining of organism. So now this is all what we studied in the last class. Is it yes or no? Karthikeyan? Nitish? So now if it comes to the today's class, then as we know, in last class I already told you, again from there I will continue. Accumulation of harmful chemicals in food chains. So first of all, here I want to say one thing. See, now whatever I am stressing, definitely the question used to come either in sample paper or in Bangalore Sahodaya pre-board. Like that, the questions coming only, I am stressing the particular thing is more. So definitely the question used to come. So if you check it, these concept, accumulation of harmful chemicals in food chains, if you check it, our CBSE sample paper, one of the question has been given related to this accumulation of food chains. So the question also I will ask you, then I will say you. Please let me know who will say, in which level of organism is highest accumulation of harmful chemicals? Anybody? Nitish? Harini? Last. Very good, Karthikeyan. So remember, in food chain, whoever it may be animal like a top carnivorous, or maybe human omnivorous, or some other animal, whatever it is, whoever at last means the organism which will ends the food chain. Do you understanding, guys? So the end of food chain, whoever it may be, so in that organism, the maximum accumulation of harmful components will be there, because further there is no transfer of energy. The food chain will be ends by with that organism, so that the accumulation of harmful chemicals from one plants to the another thing, another to the next thing, finally the overall it will be completely deposited into the last organism, which will be end of the food chain. So that is why you remember, whatever it is present in the food chain at last. For example, if we'll take, yesterday we studied grass, mice, snakes, last peacocks. So which one it is having more accumulation? More accumulation in which one, guys?
Sir.
Peacocks, correct. So now those who are having sample paper, and you can see there they have asked the food chain, which is I already given to you in the last previous classes. We studied about hawks. Have you remembered, guys? In the food chain, longest food chain, we studied hawk. Have you remembered? So anybody can say plants, grasshoppers, frog, snake, and hawk. Do you remember? So that is they asked in this, which is the maximum accumulation of pesticides or the harmful chemicals will take place. So we know that plants, what will happen? It will be eaten by grasshoppers. Understand? Grasshoppers is eaten by frog. Frog can be eaten by snake. Snake can be eaten by hawk. Correct? So now, which is hawk? This is the maximum accumulation. Yes or no? Everybody. So this is only the question given in our sample paper. So those who are having doubt, you can check it. Already I have shared you correct sample paper. So that is what everything what we are going to study. This chapter is placing very key role. Even the Bangalore Savodaya, 2 more question, 3 more question. Also they asked from this only, our environment only. So that is why little more concern about this chapter. So it may be less bar, 5 bar, but we have to concentrate on it. So now coming to our today's class, so accumulation of harmful chemicals in food chains. So what do you mean by accumulation? So as we know, just depositing the harmful substances inside the organism is only ways to called as accumulation of harmful chemicals. So if we take here the accumulation of harmful chemicals, suppose what are the examples? As I told you, they are all called as pesticides or insecticides. Understand? So to kill the pesticides or bugs or whatever it is, we will spray some chemicals on the plants. So that is only they contains harmful substances. They will be fall onto the soil and water and air, etc., etc. They will be absorbed, reabsorbed through the soil in the form of water, along with the water, and as well as air and the other all the ways, whatever the plants are connecting. So everywhere, these pesticides, the poisonous chemicals, which are sprayed over a crop plants, it may be insecticides or maybe pesticides. So everything we are using to protect them from the pets. Pets means small animals, harmful small animals, and we are making them to disease free. But if you are using these chemical pesticides, what is happening? They will start, these pesticides, they will mix up with the soil. Do you understand? And as well as water. So whenever the plant is absorbing the water from the soil, so that these pesticides also absorbed by the plants along with the water and other minerals. So that what is happening? These all the pesticides will be deposited into the plants. So everything will be deposited into the plants. So now as we know, these plants will be eaten by whom, guys? These plants will be eaten by whom? It will be eaten by the herbivores. Yes or no? So once the herbivorous animals will eat, so these herbivorous animals will be eaten by the carnivores. So like that, the continuously the amount of depositing the chemicals will be keep on increases. That is what you have to remember. So as we know, 1972 itself, US also banned one of the most pesticide. What is that, guys? DDT, dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane. Yesterday I told you. Yes or no? Karthikeyan, have you written? Tarani? So dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane is the most like we can say popular and dangerous pesticide which has even banned majority of the countries. Okay, not like undeveloped countries and underdevelopment countries only, still somehow illegally or illegally they are using. So most of the developed countries already they banned this. Okay, so now let us
It
come.
is mosquitoes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It
Yes,
is mosquitoes, sir.
I'm not getting that again.
Sir, DD means mosquitoes, sir. For
Mosquitoes, sir. Ask me clearly what it is. DDT we can use insecticide. DDT is an insecticide. We can use to kill some kind of insects which will cause us harmful to the plants. We'll spray it. It is a common pesticide long back, but because of its so many side effects, and as well as it will cause us a huge amount of biological magnification. It will cause us the genetical changes, and as I told you, children are born with disabled, like a lot of things is happening in this. That is the reason they banned that. Okay, okay, Ra?
okay, sir.
So one main thing, this DDT we can use in most of the crops. Like we can take wheat, rice, fruits, vegetables. Not only that, so many. You might be heard in your family also. Somebody if you are having a agriculture land, they are using endosulfan. Have you heard? Endosulfan. These are all the common pesticides even we'll use. They are also having a side effects, and accumulation of that also causes some nervous system will damage, and it will cause us a retinal problem or else lungs damage. That is what respiratory system will damage. It will cause us that problems, respiratory problems, like most of the pesticides. That is why you can see farmers while spraying the pesticides, they ask us to wear the gloves, mask and all, but majority of them won't follow. But they are observing that when they are spraying and all, because it will be sprinkling with air, it will mix it with air, so that when they breathe, it will go inside. So that is the reason. Even though we are looks very strong, but inside because of this depositing the harmful chemical substances, suddenly we people are getting sick, and it will lead to the death or permanent bed. That is what is it. So that is why majority you can see these pesticides like DDT is accumulating in our bodies through the food chains. So we have to, while you are eating anything like wheat, rice, fruits, vegetables, everything, meat, which cannot always be removed by washing, as I told you. So that is why we have to use a proper, like minimize the food which is you cultivated or protected by using pesticides. So now that is why you can see in this 21st century, again we back to the olden days, most of them they're preferring always organic food. They will take organic because organic food they will never spray any kind of harmful chemicals. It will be completely cultivated under the protection of free from pesticides and as well as insecticides, and they will use a manure as the only fertilizer to provide naturally all the minerals, whatever the things required to the plants. So that is what it is. So we will wash also, even that is what. So some chemicals may be washed. Suppose if I wash the fruits, so some chemicals may be washed off when I'm washing with the water, but some still on its peel. So that is why most of the fruits we have to remove the peel and we have to eat it, because all the pesticides will be just deposited on the surface of the fruits only. So like this process, like we can say from the plants to the first primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, everyone, the accumulation of the chemicals inside our bodies keep on increasing. So that process is only we used to called as a word which already we know. That is only we used to called as what? Biological magnification. Okay. So all should remember. So from this concept, definitely the question will come. So everybody need to understand. So which organism is having maximum biological magnification, guys? The last,
Sir,
the species which will come at last in any food chain, which will be experiences maximum deposition of chemicals. So that is only we used to called as biological magnification. Next, if you're having sample paper, you can check it. Now I will give you the definition. Later, I will say you. So the next concept which we are going to study is how do our activities affect the environment? Means human, because of human activities, what is the difficulties presently the environment is facing? In that the majority one which you are studying from the lower classes, that is only ozone depletion. Understanding? So or else the depletion of ozone layer. Most important one for in our exam, 4 mark question, I think 3 mark question they asked this only. CBSE sample papers, if you notice it, the 3 mark question is asked this is write the chemical equations of ozone depletion and explain it properly. You might be check it if you're having also. I'm not joking. So that is the importance of this chapter. Majority they will touch and they will give you because this will play a major important role in our life in future. So that is why they are stressing this much in this chapter. So that is why. So please all of you write biological magnification. Definition. The increase in concentration of the increase in concentration of harmful chemicals harmful chemical substances like pesticides in the body of living organisms at each trophic level Sanjay, are you understand, Sanjay? Each trophic level of a food chain is called biological magnification. Clear, everybody? Yes, please. Yes, please, correct. Completed? Sutir? Kalni? Okay. So now if you notice it, so the next concept is what? Please keep reading. How do our activities affect the environment? So this is the common thing which already we people know. So as we know how we are affecting our environment with our activities, you also know and I also know, but still we are doing it. So even some activities we cannot stop. Even we know that it is affecting the environment very adversely, but still we people need to continue that activities. So we will see that how do our activities affect the environment. So now everyone will do so many things every day, so which will causes direct or indirect effect to the environment. That is a common thing which we people know. So now if you notice it here, we are the important part of our environment. We means what? Human beings, because our activities change the environment around us. For example, for you can take even presently war is between Russia and Ukraine. It is a major drawback for the environment of Ukraine, because they are using a different weapons, different bombs, even more powerful bombs, missiles, guns, etc. And they are blasting everything like buildings, aeroplanes, and oil tankers, etc. So because of that, maximum pollution is taking place. So that lot of biological changes in the environment like that. That is the reason more, if the earth is spoiled, if the environment is spoiled, which is present in our around us, then the majority person who has been involved in this all the things is human being. So natural disasters are very less percentage, the human activities only, and compared to the other, all the animals might be causes a 1%. Then if we'll take the human beings, they are the major important of our environment, because our activities only will change the environment around us. So, and these changes in environment affect us only again back. So the effect is, so majority of the activities we only will do, and also the effect is also us, and along with that other organisms or species also. So now we will discuss two environmental problems which is caused by our activities because of human activities. So let us see what is that. And these are the two most and high priority concepts. So two effects of environmental means two environmental problems because of human activities is taking place. So that is only the first one is depletion of ozone layer. Understand everybody? So very, very important in these two concepts. Definitely one concept will come in the final exam. Okay, depletion of ozone layer. Remember everyone, this is a more major important concepts. Definitely questions will come in the exam. So this is the first one, and the second one is household garbage, or we can say the disposal of domestic wastages. So that is the second concept which is happening because of human activities. So that we will study. So household garbage. Household garbage, also we can call it as what? Disposal of domestic wastes. So kindly remember this. So these are the two things which we are going to study. Actually, after this, the chapter is almost end. So coming to the depletion of ozone layer, this is the well-known concept and a very famous concept, and this is the major problem for the present environment. So as you all people are very familiar, so why the ozone depletion is taking place? Anybody? Please let me know. Speak.
Sir, because of chlorofluorocarbon.
Yes, not only chlorofluorocarbons, as of course that is also. So it is a protective layer which is protecting a complete earth. That is the, we can say, one of the benefit of earth. How it is possible to survive on this earth? Because we have a protective layer which is protecting us from the harmful light rays which is coming from the sun. So that is only we people used to call it as ozone layer. So now let us comes to here. As we all know that depletion of ozone layer means, so first of all we should know, as we know, oxygen. So what is the oxygen molecule? O2 is the oxygen molecule. So it is made up of how many oxygens are? One oxygen molecule is made up of how many oxygens, guys? Please respond. One oxygen molecule is made up of two oxygen atoms. Is it yes or no, guys? Yes, everyone. So if you'll notice it, two oxygen atoms will combine together. This is one oxygen atom and this is another oxygen atom. So two atoms will combine together, then it is forming oxygen. So as we know, oxygen gas is essential for life because it is the use only gas which we can use in our respiration process. So now, but if it comes to here, this is what O2, which is the nature, which is the most important gas for the living organisms for carry out the respiration thing. Now, if it comes to the ozone, ozone is also made with oxygen atoms, but ozone is what, guys? O3. It is not O2, O3. So, ozone molecule, if you notice it, each ozone molecule is made up of how many oxygen atoms, guys? Three oxygen atoms combined together. That is only we used to called as ozone. So now, then only it will be act as a protector from the harmful light rays from which is coming from the sun. So three atoms, ozone O3 is made up of three atoms of oxygen combined together. Now this ozone is a gas, but it is the poisonous in nature. If you inhale, it is very, very poisonous. It is protecting us from the harmful rays, but it is a very poisonous in nature. O2 is needed necessary gas for us for carry out the respiration process. But if we take C, a single oxygen is increasing one more, then this O3 will become what? It is also a gas like O2, but a very poisonous in nature. Do you understand, everybody? Please respond. Very poisonous in nature. So now if you inhale, it will cause to the death also. Now, let us see how this ozone is formed. Do you understand, everybody? Because first of all, if you want to understand depletion of ozone layer, we have to know how this ozone is forming. That is what. So now, if we take here, higher, like high up in the atmosphere by the action of ultraviolet radiation on oxygen gas, this ozone is formed. Do you understand? Means at the extremely high altitudes, means that the top layer of the atmospheres. So because of the action of ultraviolet radiations with oxygen gas, so we used to get the, what will form? O3, ozone layer will form. Okay, so now means a high energy ultraviolet radiations, UV light coming from the sun splits oxygen gas into free oxygen atoms so that it will be forming into ozone. That is what you need to remember. So now ozone is formed where? Only at the higher altitudes of the atmosphere by the action of ultraviolet. Understand, everybody? Ultraviolet radiations on the oxygen gas. So now if you take, first of all, these ultraviolet radiations, because of high heat or high energy, they will split the oxygen molecule into individual atoms, means a free oxygen atoms. That is what the step one will take place. So a high energy ultraviolet rays, which is coming from whom, guys? UV radiation, that is only which is coming from whom? Coming from the sun. Do you understand, everybody? It will split the oxygen molecule into oxygen atoms. So now these only we used to called as free oxygen atoms. Free oxygen atoms. So now these atoms, understanding, so these free oxygen atoms, they are produced are very, very reactive. As we know, it is usually diatomic molecule. So it is very, very reactive. So what will happen? Each oxygen atom reacts with an oxygen molecule to form the ozone layer. Means each oxygen atom will start reacting with oxygen molecule and it will start forming O3. So that is only we used to call it as ozone molecule. So please all of you remember this. This is very, very important. So these reactions also you should learn. So given it is given in CBSE CBSE sample papers also. Those who are want, you can check it. So this is what you need to write it. You understand, everybody? Oxygen molecule. So formation of ozone layer will take place in 2 steps. So this is what you need to remember. Is it okay, guys? Everyone, please respond. So how the ozone is formed? High up in the atmosphere means higher altitudes of the atmosphere. What is happening? The high energy light, that is what ultraviolet radiations, which are first split up the oxygen atoms and the oxygen molecule. Once they will become highly reactive, then they will be start reacting with the oxygen molecule, so that it will form the ozone O3 molecule. That is what you need to remember. So this is the process of formation of ozone molecules or ozone layer. Is it okay, guys? Have you understand? Tarani, please let me know. Yalni. So now you can make it. So this is only ways to say formation of ozone layer. Now we will study the depletion also. So don't worry. So please write it. All of you. Have you understand? Yes, please. So now what do you mean by depletion means? Again, the reverse process is taking place because of our human activities, because of some harmful chemicals. The ozone which is formed by the high energy ultraviolet radiations, UV means ultraviolet radiations. Remember, the reverse process is taking place. So means in the sense of ozone, because of some harmful chemicals like CFC, chlorofluorocarbons, then it is forming back into O2 plus O. So it is leads to the depletion. So this is only ways to call it as depletion of ozone layer. You understand, everybody? It will start forming into the oxygen molecule and oxygen atom. That is only ways to say depletion of ozone layer. So please, all of you, write these 2 equations. Formation of ozone layer have written. Please let me know, Kevin, Krutiga, Arun Karthikeyan. This is only ways to say formation of ozone layer. Clear? Please let me know. So now if it is over, then we can see what is the ozone layer position. Anybody? So suppose if you imagine this is the earth. Understand? So now what is the position of ozone layer, guys? Which is present a thick layer, understanding height between 15 kilometers and 60 kilometers. So in this region, imagine this is 15 kilometers and this is 60 kilometers. So at a height between 15 kilometers and 60 kilometers, there is a layer of a ozone gas, that is only wish to say O3 gas, in the upper atmosphere. That is only wish to called as ozone layer, upper atmosphere. Understand, everyone? So this ozone layer is very, 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 very important for the existence of life on the earth, because it absorbs most of the harmful ultraviolet radiations coming from the sun, and it will prevent from reaching to the earth. That is why without ozone layer, then nobody can survive on this earth. Not only the humans, every organism, because the ultraviolet rays are the dangerous light rays which is coming from the sun. If it reaches to the earth, then it will cause a lot of problems to the human beings and as well as other organisms. At certain situation, everybody, it leads to the death. Do you understand? Maximum cases will be the death cases. So that is the reason we can say the most important layer which is present in the atmosphere for the existence of life on earth. Understand? Because it will save us from the dangerous lights emitted by the sun. So that is what you need to remember. So for example, these ultraviolet radiations it reaches to the earth. So that what will happen, sir? So you already know. So the ultraviolet radiations, they are extremely high energy light, and they are very harmful effect on human beings. So even other animals also they will affect. For example, if we'll take the majority problem is still, as already we damaged some